And the wheels just keep on turning here at PRI, and I am joined now by Allison Doll from Portatree. How are you, Allison?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. We shook hands, and your hand is about as cold as my feet right now. It is somehow somebody left the front door open. But good to have you. You guys are always a staple here at the PRI show, and you've had a little time to walk around. How do things seem for you?
Everything's been great. Been talking to a lot of people. I'm actually making it down rows this year, so that's a good start.
So Allison, of course, I go way back with your family. Of course, when I started driving for John Force, I had to have the Portatree, and that is one of the most important tools for any professional drag racer, is to have the little Portatree, whether it's the foot pedal or the thumb release. Of course, there's trans brakes, but it's mental conditioning for the racer. Quick reflexes go a long way in our sport. Is that really still the staple of the Portatree business?
Yeah, so our business is pretty much 50-50 between the practice trees and the track systems. So it's kind of funny because the busy time of year for the track systems is, spring, early January, February, March, when people are looking to change over track systems. And then practice trees come into full swing. This time of year, everyone getting those Christmas presents for the racer makes a great Christmas present. But they're still super popular, and pretty much from junior dragsters up to the pro ranks, everyone needs a practice tree.
And you have to find that the majority of your business comes from the racer, from the driver on the sportsman level, all the way up to to John Force and Antron Brown, having your Portatree in their lounge in between rounds. And I sneak up to get an update in between qualifying, especially on Sunday, and you find the drivers up in their lounge practicing their reflexes. But I do find that some more than others. I think I used to do it a lot. There was a time that I was very religious about it, and there were times that I thought, I don't want to overdo it. But for you guys, do you find that many race fans want to try to do what the professionals are doing and buy your Portatree product?
Well, a lot of guys have a man cave or a racing-themed room.
Yes.
And it's a great addition to those rooms. So I think that, a lot of spectators do enjoy it. And we even have the little handheld practice tree now that you can it's called the Pocket. It's pretty effectively named in that You can carry it in your pocket. Fans, it's a low dollar item that you can have, and it's giving you the same features that the pro, like the same basic design that the pros practice with. So.
Now, since you bring that up, does Portatree have an app yet, or is that something that we can expect any day?
So I'm hoping to do an app that hooks to the Eliminator, because you can't get the right timing on an app. So when you practice with an app, you're really doing yourself a disservice because they're not accurate enough. So if you're a true hardcore racer and you really want to improve your reaction times, an app is not the way to go. But the new app, we would like to do an app hooked to the practice tree so that you still need a practice tree, because the dedicated hardware is the only way to practice. And but maybe to give you some additional connectivity.
So let's shift gears a little bit to your track timing systems. The one NHRA race that Portatree went in and handled all of the timing was in Ennis, was in Dallas, with Billy Meyer's track. How did that weekend go? I know there's always concern with the NHRA when it comes to timing. That's so important, it's so crucial, so critical, and for the racers as well. But overall, how was that weekend, and how successful was for you guys?
It was phenomenal. We had so much positive feedback from the sportsman racers and pro racers. People did touch base with me after. It was stressful for me, but I was in the tower, trying to make sure I wanted to make sure everyone had the best race experience as possible, and also to make sure that, honestly, for the most part, we didn't want people to notice there was any difference. We wanted things to run smooth and the event to go off without a hitch, and I think it went really well.
The future of the sport of drag racing, whether it's NHRA or any other, you guys have your system in a lot of tracks, but is there going to be a change? Can any of us expect a change? I know my son races karts, and I know this is the case with other forms of motorsports. They have transponders, so there is a backup system that the racer can rely on to get an accurate time and to maybe even solve a couple of arguments. You know, sometimes we have certain camera angles with a little bit of a fisheye that at times may appear that the car that was awarded the win looks like it was behind, and that's just sometimes based on the angle where they have the camera located, which changes from race to race. But is there any new technology on the horizon for timing?
I think so with timing, it all comes down to the accuracy of the timer. So that's like the big technology for us. Transponders, probably not in drag racing. I think that just because of how we're set up and how increments are set up, it would be a little difficult. You know, we're not measuring all on the same point on the track. However, there are definitely improvements every day, and you never know what's going to come down the line next, and we just try to stay on the cutting edge.
So for Portatree, and hey, I'll confess, the last time I drove a race car in competition was in 2015, and the last time I had a Portatree had to be from the early 2000s. So I'm a little outdated. Has there been new versions of the Portatree since then?
Oh yeah.
And how many?
Probably 2 versions from the early 2000s, but the next gen practice tree is probably the one that is like a step above everything. It's got a touchscreen display, fully customizable. I don't care if you're doing like street outlaws type racing to pro racing to sportsman bracket racing to outlaw bracket racing. It's got the features for you.
And I saw Portatree earlier, correct me if I was seeing things, but that actually had a shift light that was tracking your shift points. Is that something that is on that new Portatree that you just mentioned?
Yeah, both the Eliminator Next Gen and the Pocket have a shift light feature, and we've actually been helping a lot of the pro stock teams where they actually, in their in-car simulators at their shops, they can actually shift and it will time their shifts so that they can see how quickly they react to shift light. And the most key, like the most important thing in anything in racing, right, is knowing. With knowledge, you can do so much. So maybe you're not the fastest shifter. Maybe it takes you 0.2 seconds to react to the shift light, where it takes your opponent 0.18. Well, you can control when the shift light comes on. So if it takes you a little longer, as long as you know it takes you a little longer, you can compensate and then end up with the same race results.
And what is the delivery time of this new product that you're talking about?
Oh, they're in stock, ready to go.
They're ready to go, just in time for Christmas.
Yep.
So if you've ever wanted to compete with any of the pros, that's the tool that they use. They do it in their trailer, they do it in their closet, they do it at home. Allison Doll, thanks for dropping by, and hope it's a great PRI show. And I will be, what's the best place to find you? Because I've got to look at some of the new product, and is there a website I can go to?
Yeah, if you go to portatree.com, or we're on Facebook, Instagram, you know, and if you want to watch the videos of the new product, YouTube. So.
Well, that's interesting. I'll be one of the first to visit that website. I have 2 boys, they're 14 and 16. I still say that I am quicker than them, and Portatree is one way to solve that. So Allison, thanks for dropping by.
Thanks for having me.